Everybody lock your doors and hide your gardening tools. Leatherface is back, baby. Hi, everyone. It's me, Grant, the movie and TV guy. Welcome to Raise on Popcorn with Grant. Hi, everybody. Don't be scared. Yeah, it's me, Grant, the movie and TV guy, and it's Raise on Popcorn with Grant. And today we're talking about a movie. Movies and TV is what we do here. Today we're talking about not only a movie, but a sequel of sorts. And that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is directed by David Blue Garcia. It is, and it has among its writing credits Fede Alvarez, who did Don't Breathe. He's also a producer, along with Legendary Pictures. So what is Texas Chainsaw Massacre about? Well, it's the 9th installment in the series, and it pulls sort of a Halloween 2018, where it ignores the events of all the other sequels, just the first movie to a degree, although many of the creatives said that that's not actually true, but it's just that they're kind of off. They're in the continuity, but they're not acknowledged. Whatever. Either way, the only movie that is required viewing is the first. So, picks up almost 50 years later to the present day, back in Garcia, Texas, where the events of the first film have become something of a documentary in this film's universe, which kind of plays on the idea of it being a documentary. Narrated by John Larroquette, who narrated the original film. A group of young, hip millennials, among them including Jacob Lattimore, fine actor, and Elsie Fisher, star of the terrific 8th Grade, have arrived in the town to essentially gentrify it in every way but name. Essentially, they're going to move everyone out and open, like, sort of reopen the town as an oasis for influencers. Many people in the town don't like that. One of those people is an old woman who they essentially, and unfairly we discover, kick off her property, and the shock and grief of that causes her heart to give out in the ambulance. And wouldn't you know it, it also incurs the wrath of her boy. You see, she's played by Alice Krieg, and you see she owns an orphanage where one of her boys is a certain fella who likes chainsaws and wearing human faces on his own as a mask. You know where this is going. These people took his life away. Now Leatherface is literally going to take their lives, preferably with a chainsaw. Let the face of madness return and let the mayhem begin once more. Can the final girl of the original film, Sally Hardesty, who is now the sheriff of the little town, save the day? Let's find out. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is streaming on Netflix. It's the 9th film, like I said. Anyone who knows me knows I love the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think it's one of the scariest films ever made. The 7 sequels and now 8 so far that followed up to this point, not so much. They did Texas Chainsaw 2, which was way too goofy. They did the 3rd one, which was just kind of a mess. The 4th one, which had its moments, but none of them were really intentional. A lot of the charm of that was that it was an early Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger role. Then they did the Michael Bay remake, which was alright. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, which was just awful. Texas Chainsaw 3D, which is still the worst in this series. That was the first one I saw in the theaters. I hated it. And then Leatherface, which had its moments and was kind of a return to form, but otherwise was not that good. By a very slim margin, this new film, once again simply called, in requel fashion, much like Scream and Halloween, and Candyman, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm not going to lie, this movie's getting a bit of a mixed reception, 32% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to tell you something. I dug this film. I really had a good time. And here's the thing. The characters in this movie that are not named Leatherface, like the would-be heroes of this movie, are awful. I hated these characters. However, Mr. Blue Garcia is smart in that he kind of knows that. The movie's like 81 minutes. This movie is very, very... And about 10 of those are credits. This movie is very brief. It's actually around the same runtime as the first film. And so you have these unlikable characters. But it only takes about maybe 20 minutes of the movie before Leatherface really gets his chainsaw revved up, and then it's just mayhem for the next hour. And that's where this movie shines, is the mayhem. There's a scene on a bus that is one of the all-time slasher set pieces. I'm not kidding. It's pretty amazing. Involving this bustle of influencers and Leatherface. Elsie Fisher's in this. Unfortunately, she said it with an unlikable character. She is a terrific actress. Anyone who's seen 8th Grade knows this. It's one of the best films of the last decade. It's not on that level, but, like, I also appreciate this film, much like the original, is insanely nihilistic. Nobody is safe. And they did a pretty good job. I honestly would see a second one of these on Netflix, if they remember the economy of this one. Now, there are some elements I really hated. To be honest with you. First off, the ending is way too much a carbon copy of the original, and it doesn't top it. Secondly, which was a little bit of a problem, I liked some of the ending, but not all of it. Secondly, the characters are terrible, like I said, except for one who is dispatched way too early on. This kind of the girlfriend of sort of the asshole guy who comes in and lies to Alice Creek. The other thing is, they do some plot elements that I feel like do not belong in a movie of this sort. Like, for instance, there's a kind of a sheriff in the town who turns out to be unlikable seems like an unlikable character, becomes kind of an unlikely sort of hero figure who has a Confederate flag and is kind of openly, seemingly hostile toward the African-American character. Now, that character, unfortunately, the African-American character is, like the rest of the characters, of the main characters, pretty unlikable. But regardless, that feels really out of place, that kind of thing. I know what they're trying to do satirically, but it doesn't quite work. The other element I didn't like is that the Elsie Fisher character, her big trauma is that she's a school shooting survivor. I felt like they did not handle that well. I thought that was kind of unnecessary to be in there. It just felt like trying to get at the hot button. Other than that, I did really dig Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Wouldn't walk 2 blocks for it, but you know what? I really did. It's on Netflix. It's a perfect Netflix watch. Let's just close the book on this. I'm going to give Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.5 stars. It's not perfect, not even close. Like I said, you have to suffer about 20 minutes of these very obnoxious characters, but after that, especially if you're a fan of like slasher movies, you're gonna get your money's worth. Just full stop. This is what this is for, and it's a ton of fun. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre gets 3.5 stars. Let's close the book on it. Trailer Trash Now and watch it on Netflix. Was there a shawarma? Yes, there was. There is a scene after the credits that is clearly setting up a sequel. Stick around for that. Also, it's on Netflix, so thankfully they don't start the autoplay up until after the post-credits scene, because I think once you see the credits roll and then you realize it's not going into things like, okay, there's a post-credits scene, and there was. Alright, we will be back with The Cursed and Uncharted and other things coming soon, including Peacemaker Season 1. That'll all be next time, and until next time, I'm Grant, the movie and TV guy. I see it all, I'm happy to share it with you. I love you all, appreciate you all. I love you all, class is missed, I love you 3000, be kind to one another. If you like this video, give it a like if you want to, give it a subscribe if you want to, give it the bell. I don't know what it does, but that's what it's supposed to do, or so I've been told. If you want to find me elsewhere, reviews, this, and other fun stuff, you can check me out on Letterboxd.com at Raised on Popcorn with Grant. Some of you already have, but even if you haven't, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. It's incredibly important. Check out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre if you want. It's a ton of fun if you're in the right mood for it, and we'll meet each other again. Until we meet again, always remember we were all raised on popcorn, McMahon with extra butter. And we'll catch you guys next time. Take care.